Okay, I'm here to give you a first TNA review, and then I was gonna go on to the next video and make the SmackDown review. So let's get it started. TNA happened on February 13th, 2014, and it kicks off with Dixie. Oh my gosh! It kicks off with Dixie Carter, Ethan Carter III, Magnus, and Rockstar Spud. They're in the ring, and they're talking about this whole MVP situation and how they should just stop, how he doesn't have like the talent, and how they're all jealous of her and stuff. And MVP doesn't have a world champion. She's got a world champion in Magnus.
Give me my controller.
Oh, you didn't bring your forgot your controller?
Yeah. Peace.
Peace.
Sorry I interrupted.
It's okay. Yeah. So yeah, what was I talking about? Oh, I was talking about how, and what kind of made this funny and how she talked about how he also has a nephew, is like Mac, and she kind of like looked at Ethan Carter III like he's nothing. So I thought that was cool, and he said that he ended Kurt Angle's career. I'm assuming Kurt Angle's gonna be back to do like a lockdown match, cage match, with Ethan Carter III or versus Angle, or they're gonna do something else that was announced later on tonight. So MVP comes out with Samoa Joe, and he announces that it's gonna be Magnus versus Joe for the world title at not Lethal Lockdown, at Lockdown. But Gargano comes out and says that next week he's gonna cash in the world title briefcase on Magnus. And then, but Dixie Carter says no. She forces Gargano to cash in to defend the briefcase against EC3, Ethan Carter III. But MVP also wants it to be a ladder. Forces Ethan Carter III to defend his tag team championship briefcase. And they're gonna put both briefcases on the line in a ladder match. And if anyone tries to interfere, they will be MVP's gonna do something about it. So we had the match, and it was the ladder match was okay. It wasn't like the greatest thing ever. I kind of barely remember it. And eventually Magnus comes out and starts beating down Gunner. James Storm runs out and attacks him. So MVP comes out and makes it and restarts it into a tag team ladder match with the briefcases on the line. So Gunner, I'm trying to remember. Gunner got beat the crap out of him in this match. He got front suplex ribs first onto ladder twice by both Magnus and EC3. He got beat up pretty bad. James Storm came back because Ethan Carter the third and Magnus were fighting because he doesn't want Ethan Carter the third to become the number one contender to his world championship. So they're fighting because they've been having some miscommunication. I think it's going to lead to like a world championship match between Magnus and EC3 at some point in the future. And then what ends up happening is Gunner is in the ring and he grabs the case. I barely remember this because I saw it so long ago. So it was botched though, because I don't know if it was a botch because like the cable came down while he was on the floor, so I don't know if that was supposed to happen. And he grabs the both cases, so James Storm and Gunner get the tag title shot. And I guess they had like an agreement between EC3 and the Bromans, so that way they wouldn't be able to cash in the shot. It's stupid. Why would you just cash it in? And then the Bromans are pissed off backstage at MVP and puts it in a 6-man tag team match. It's going to be the Bromans, which is Jesse Goddard and Robbie E. And Zima Ion, or as they call him, DJ Zima, but his real name is Zima Ion, versus the American Wolves, which is Davey Richards and somebody else. Not Davey. Eddie. I forget their names, but I want to remember them as time goes on. And a mystery partner. The mystery partner ends up being Samoa Joe. They kind of get squashed. Samoa Joe ends up winning money. puts the rear naked choke on Zima Ion. I liked the double team moves though between the American Wolves. I think they look like a pretty good tag team. I kind of wish they could have gone to WWE instead though, because they have a better tag team division than TNA. They don't really have any tag teams. All they have are the Bromans and Bad Influence, Christopher Daniels, and Kazarian, which you really even see. So I thought I wish they would, because then they could have seen great matches with like the Usos versus American Wolves, Real Americans versus American Wolves. Like you could see some sick matches. But yeah, it's not gonna happen. Then but yeah, they did some really good double team moves in this match. Check them out. I should mention that we had Taz and Mike Tenay on commentary. I forgot to mention that. Abyss is backstage and he attacked someone. It was kind of funny. MVP with Dixie Carter and Rockstar Spot backstage. Velvet Sky's pissed that she has to fight Chris Sabin. And MVP's like, why should a man fight a woman? He's like, you did say that like competition is like best or something, or for the knockouts or something. And then Rockstar Spud says like MVP's washed up, that he used to be against better than him. So MVP challenges him to a match, and later on tonight, Abyss comes out. He says that like he can't believe this. He never wanted to know that Joseph Park's Abyss. He calls out Eric Young, and he says, I thought you were my friend. And Eric Young says, I wanted to help you. I wanted to show you that Joseph Park is Abyss. Joseph Park says that I need help, but not from you. I'm done with you. I'm going to go away and get some help and be back. So this is probably a way to take off Abyss, because right now Abyss is coming off his shit to me right now, because we've seen Joseph Park and he's just been crap. So I wonder if him being off TV for a while will be good then. Then we got MVP versus Rockstar Spud. It was a squash match. It was cool to see MVP wrestling again and doing all the same moves he used to do, like the ball and elbow when he would go ballin'. And then it was also cool to see him do. I'm surprised he didn't do the players booth. I wish he had done that. What else? He did something else. Oh, and he did the drive-by kick. So I thought and the hand to the throat. Little neat face buster he used to do. It was cool to see MVP do that kind of stuff again. And MVP gets the win. And then I have to look at my notes for a second. I think we got the Velvet Sky match. Oh, I forgot about the Chris Hemme thing. She's backstage and Chris Sabin says, you're right, we should keep it professional. This is gonna like eventually lead to like a thing where Chris Hemme when gets kidnapped by Dexter, which is Samuel Shaw, and yeah, so Bobby Roode's backstage and he's looking for Dixie Carter, pissed off. We get a Willow video package. Looked like Jeff Hardy. It said Willow on it, but it looked like a Jeff Hardy. It was exactly like the Wyatt family video package when they would like cut those promos in the woods. This is the exact same thing. So Dixie Carter's backstage on the phone. Bobby Roode's in her face, and he's pissed that he didn't get a shot at the world title. They had a deal. Dixie says, I gave you a shot, you lost. And he's like, that's not what I meant. And he said that you don't want to make an enemy out of me. I'm done with you. So we're going to find out what happens more with that later. Velvet Sky versus Chris Sabin. He lets Velvet Sky take the first shot. She doesn't want to do it at first. Eventually she does it after he calls her a skank. She low blows her, but he was like wearing a protective knee padding. But she just low blows him, and she's beating the crap out of him. Some big muscle girl comes out and lays her out, and Chris Sabin covers her, which the match never started, and the woman makes the count. And I don't even know who this was. I don't really care. They should just end this Chris Sabin thing, but they're not going to. Bully Ray's backstage. I forgot to mention earlier in the night, Mr. Anderson was backstage showing his twins, and Bully Ray goes backstage and goes through Mr. Anderson's stuff. He picks up his cell phone, and I'm surprised he didn't have like a code on it. I wonder if he used like an emergency call thing or something. But I don't even think then you could use it. I'm surprised like he didn't do it. But he called his wife and says that this is your wife, your husband's gonna come home in a casket and tell your children that your husband says bye. Bobby Roode gets interviewed and he's all depressed. said, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. I'm going to talk about this next week. And then the security tells Bobby he has to leave. So I think if Bobby Roode's going to turn face now and join the rebellion side of Dixie Carter's thing. Then we get Bully Ray versus Mr. Anderson in a casket match. I thought this was a great casket match. Not my favorite casket match, but I thought it was good. My only problem with this match is what the hell was up with the casket. It was small. Like, I'm used to seeing casket matches, and they're usually huge. I've only never seen one in TNA, but that was a small-ass casket, if you ask me. Bully Ray, Mr. Anderson puts up a fight. He hits him with chairs and stuff. Bully Ray ends up getting the upper hand. When I think when Anderson got hit with the chairs, he got laid out, and his nose gets busted open. So Bully Ray destroys Mr. Anderson. He beats him up with punches, power bombs him through a table, superplexes him. Bad stuff. And he tried to put him in the casket, but failed every time. He ended up wearing like a football team because they were in the England, and he wore like a football team's jersey that was like their enemy. I don't really know too much about that. So Anderson was like making mess with that, but Bully Ray goes to power drive him in the casket because he brought it in the win. Mr. Anderson Mike checks him and puts the lid on, and Mr. Anderson wins. I was shocked. I thought they were gonna give it to Bully Ray as like a strong, but no, they gave it to Anderson. And I like Anderson. And then Dixie Carter tries to buy MVP share back of TNA with like a amount of money, but MVP doesn't do it. Instead, he challenges Dixie Carter to a lethal lockdown match with her team members versus his. I think that's good. So TNA was a pretty simple show this week. There wasn't really too much to trash. I got to see the American Wolves wrestle. I always heard that they were a great tag team, so I got to see them wrestle. The ladder match wasn't bad. I didn't mind the casket match. The only thing I didn't like was just that Velvet Sky Chris Sabin crap. That's about it. But yeah, that's about it, guys. And as for this lethal lockdown thing, I think it's probably going to be MVP. He's going to be like the leader. James Storm, Gunner. Cause next week it's Gunner versus Magnus too. So James Storm, Gunner, Mr. Anderson. So it's 5-on-5. And I'll throw in like Bobby Roode. I think he'll be like a face and join with them. And then the heel side would be Bully Ray, EC3. Oh, I maybe. I really don't know. I don't know what direction. I don't know if they're gonna do Kurt Angle EC3 in a cage match, but I'm not sure. But that's pretty much it for my TNA review, guys. You can click on the links down below. I'm not gonna say them out loud because I have another video and I'll just say it in that video. That's pretty much it, guys. Peace out.